Many of you have been asking, which is best, QD OLED or RGB Tandem? Friends, I can tell you this right off the bat to help you make that awesome buying decision, and to be honest, if you already have a QD OLED monitor, stick with it. Wait until True Black 500 in 32 inches comes out if you want to upgrade, as they already have them in 27 inches, because the color volume still wins versus RGB Tandem. You will be able to see that in this video. But if you're a picky person and you want the best of the best, and what I mean by that is that you want the best peaks, an overall natural look versus QD OLED, less saturated, but still very colorful, get the 27GX700A. In this video, you will be able to see that the peaks on the LG are next level, and yes, will beat any QD OLED panel on the market today. It's that good. 1500 nits, 1600 nits. It is amazing once you see it in person, in gaming and in your movie content. But again, if you're coming from mini LED, 2000 nits, or a C5 or a G5, don't expect the RGB Tandem on monitor form to blow you out of the water. These are monitors, usually monitors, or I would say controlled tone down of the TV tech. So keep that in mind. But for us monitor enthusiasts or people who just want to game on monitors because of our room size, desk size, we want to work and play on one screen. I hope this video does help you show the differences between these two specific monitors, the Odyssey G80SD and LG 27GX700A, QD OLED True Black 400 versus RGB Tandem True Black 500. So hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one. From breaking news, reviews, impressions, gameplay videos, and everything in between, only found here on Victor's Reality. And don't forget to hype while you're at it. Every little bit counts. Thanks guys. So what can I say on this LG Tandem? From its 1500 nits in peak power to its overall increased brightness in SDR mode, this is a nice improvement over the GS versions. If you're an enthusiast, if you're a picky person, you will be able to see that increase in brightness on the LG panel. But it really comes via the peaks. The smaller the area lit up, the brighter the image, which makes the image look 3D-ish because it's OLED technology. It's infinity contrast. You can see here by Oblivion, that torch looks amazing on the LG. Both monitors do have black equalizer and black stabilizer to help control the shadow detail. So when you see these scenes, give or take, you can adjust either monitor to your liking. And that includes night vision with the MSI models. And Gigabyte and Asus, you get what I'm saying. All these monitors have some kind of black equalizer or black stabilizer control. But to me, Samsung and LG have the easiest options that work both in SDR and HDR modes. Look at Red Dead Redemption 2. This looks amazing on the LG. It looks beautiful on the Samsung. But you just cannot deny certain scenes, the LG just looks next level in certain scenes. And to be honest, I would say about maybe 20 to 30% of the time. It's not that many times that I'm seeing the LG win. QD OLED, even at True Black 400, holds its own. And with the color pop, the color volume, I would say LG's 4th Gen Tandem is catching up finally to equal QD OLED. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't surpass it or destroy it by any means. So the first question I get a lot, I just bought a QD OLED. Oh man, should I get the RGB Tandem? Should I return to QD OLED? Of course not, friends. If you got a good deal, no way. But if you're a picky person, or if you're gonna buy two monitors and you just want a different flavor, then by all means, yes, get the RGB Tandem. You will be able to see the peaks, which I'm gonna show you in a little bit. Here's some gameplay of Halo Campaign Evolved. And just to note, certain monitors have or do not have an automatic brightness limiter. So in certain monitors like the Samsung or the MSI, those SDR modes are capped at around 260 to 270 nits, even if it's QD OLED. While the Gigabyte, Asus, among other brands, the brightness can go higher. While capped at 260 to 270, depending on how many pixels are lit up, it can go up to 350, 400, which those monitors make the image look outstanding and would compete more directly with this RGB Tandem. But Samsung, MSI, and Alienware, usually in SDR mode, have their monitor capped at around 260 to 70 nits, depending on how you test it. Also, certain monitors do have issues with HDR mode. That's why it's always good to have a great monitor with SDR mode. And that's why I would say the LG wins easily in SDR mode versus any monitor I have tested here on the channel. First of all, HDR just works. On the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Switch 2, you just connect it and it works, no nonsense. Yes, you have to calibrate it through your console, but besides that, it just works. While on the Samsung, as you're seeing here, and I am going to show you my settings Again friends, there's nothing to hide here. I'm showing these two monitors to help you make that awesome buying decision. And to be honest, you can go either way. They both are amazing monitors, they're both awesome. But for example, like here, the QD OLED has trouble. I don't know what I would say. It looks a bit washed compared to the LG. The LG looks inky, it looks contrasty. But the Samsung does not look like that. Even if I adjust the settings, from static to active, active just makes everything more washed. Contrast enhancer, again, if you put it on high, it looks brighter but washed. Either off or low would be best. I mean, it still looks good, but when you compare it side by side to another monitor, that's when you'll be able to notice that difference. And that's that picky person in me that's gonna say, hey, the win here goes to LG. If I had to choose one of these monitors for this specific scene right now, LG Tandem all the way. And I hope you can see that here on screen. But like I said earlier, RGB Tandem is finally catching up to QD OLED in terms of color volume, color pop, the overall picture. But still, 1500 nits, 1600 nits of peak power, easily the win goes to LG. For the next couple of games, you'll be able to see here, with the arrow pointing on screen, that speedometer on the motorcycle or the cars looks like it's glowing. There's nothing to top that. When you see this image, it looks like it's popping out of the screen. It looks like you're there, present with all the ambience. It looks really amazing. That's what QD OLED really needs to do. They have to increase that peak brightness, hopefully very soon, but there's no denying. In dark games, nighttime games, RGB Tandem will probably always take the win. But like you can see here, even the car's brake lights, the red looks like it's popping on the RGB Tandem. Let's go to more monitor settings so you can see. I have it set up like I always do on my G80SD. Look here at the GPS menu screen. It's brighter on the RGB Tandem. The speedometer, that circle with the miles per hour, it's all bright, and it's brighter on RGB Tandem. And you can see the background with the headlights. In front of the car, it's brighter on the Tandem. Now there may be a perceived brightness situation going on because you might look at this scene and say, hey, well, it doesn't look that much different. Well, this is 32 inches versus 27, so what do you expect? The perceived brightness may look brighter on the Odyssey, but I'm telling you what I can see in person, and what I'm relaying here is that the LG 27GX700A is brighter, more rich, it looks deeper. But again, that's on a scene-by-scene basis. You're going to see here throughout this video, QD OLED will pull ahead in certain scenes, while the peaks and in other scenes, I guess it's the algorithm, the win goes to LG. Here for a really ultra contrasty car scene, look at that red. Wow, that is crazy deep. The radio, the GPS screen, the windows from the buildings, the LG Tandem easily is the winner. I mean, you guys gotta experience it. If you get this monitor, when I talk about peaks, this is what I'm talking about. But only enthusiasts, picky people, people who upgrade year on year like I do, would be able to notice this and relay it back to you. It may not be that much of a difference to you if you're coming from mini LED, but OLED with no blooming at this brightness is amazing. Next up, QD OLED pulls ahead. You can see the full color volume. That pop in brightness really wins on a G80SD over the RGB Tandem. And I have this on a controlled color setting at 22. Many people like 25, 30, and it still wins versus the RGB Tandem. But to each their own. Everyone is picky, everyone is different. You may like a certain picture. Many people do comment that they like LG's more natural picture, the look of it. I personally like editing more on WOLED panels. That's just me. But here with this scene with Ambilight, I would say it's a tie. Now check this out. You can see here with this trailer, the RGB Tandem, the peak highlights are winning here in HDR mode. That's where those 1500 nits really show itself. And with more pixels lit up, you can see here, it's way brighter on the LG. But when we get to darker scenes, they both look really deep, and that's what I'm saying. RGB Tandem finally has caught up to QD OLED. Get QD OLED for the overall picture, the color brightness. But if you are picky and you just need those peaks, I'm telling you, once you see them side by side, it's hard to decide which one to go with. Because I wish I had a QD OLED monitor with the peaks of the LG, and I would say that's it, that's endgame. But right now, we don't have that. I mean, look at these brightness pictures here with the music band. The color volume really does come in handy for the overall scene. Not necessarily just the color, but the background information on screen. Even white or gray walls. That color pop, that color volume will show itself. And of course, the algorithm of each monitor, the way they display the picture, it just depends on a scene by scene. That's why I say sometimes one will win over the other. And you'll be able to notice that when you have them side by side. here with this scene with the people in the city, I mean, sometimes on the QD OLED, it looks brighter. And I'm thinking, is that a perceived brightness or a real brightness? But no, it is brighter on QD OLED. You would think Tandem would be brighter, but it's not. But then there's some scenes with a whiter cloudy background and it trades blows and it goes to the RGB Tandem. So it's gonna be a scene by scene basis. Don't really rely on one image or one picture. It really got to fit your need. If it's gaming, the movie content, the style of content you watch. If you're always browsing or working, it's gonna be a difference. It may be a huge difference to you or may not, depending on what you're doing. I love both monitors, so it doesn't really matter to me. I just want the best of both worlds. Gaming on the Odyssey and browsing and working on the LG. Sure, I'd like to have it all, but one day we'll get there. Anyway friends, this was a much requested video. My answer would be, if you got a QD OLED, don't return it, keep it, because the color volume still is apparent. But if you're a picky person and an enthusiast, stick with the peaks and get the LG. Consider subscribing if you want more videos just like this one. Previews, reviews, gameplay videos, versus videos, and everything in between, only found here on Victor's Reality. Thanks for watching friends, stay safe out there. I'll see you guys next time.